Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula, and welcome to today's Pokemon Go discussion video. So we got the announcement what the August Community Day is going to be, and it is going to feature none other than Galarian Zigzagoon. Now a couple of months ago, I predicted that this Pokemon would be featured as a Community Day by the end of the year, and I'm kind of glad that I'm right. However, there's a lot of people who are feeling like this decision was controversial, and I do want to talk about that here. Alright, so with that said, let's roll the intro and get right into it. Okay, so the August Community Day, which is going to be happening on August 13th, 2022, is going to feature none other than Galarian Zigzagoon. Now, we do not know what move it's going to be getting, but we can predict that it's going to be a pretty good one, considering that Galarian Zigzagoon's final evolved form, Obstagoon, is actually pretty powerful in PvP. So, I'm predicting they're going to make it even more powerful by giving it a move that is going to be meta relevant. But there's been a lot of discussion regarding whether or not Galarian Zigzagoon should have been a Community Day Pokemon, considering that its shiny form has been released for a long time now, and it was a raid exclusive for the longest time. This means that if you wanted yourself a Galarian Zigzagoon that's shiny, you would have had to spend a lot of money to raid, but now that it's becoming a Community Day Pokemon, a lot of those raid passes that were spent trying to get this shiny have become obsolete. And I could totally understand why these players are frustrated. Having spent all that money in order to get a specific shiny, only for that shiny to be accessible to pretty much everyone through Community Day, that's gotta sting a little bit. But this is something that I would consider. Doing a whole bunch of raids for a particular shiny that will be a Community Day in the future, you're basically paying that money for early access. You're going to be getting those shinies before anyone else. You also have to take in mind that Pokemon that you get from raids are typically higher IVs than those you catch in the wild, so the fact that you got a whole bunch of shiny Zigzagoons that are at least 3 stars, whereas everyone else are going to have a whole bunch of shinies that are probably going to be 1 or 2 stars, that is actually a pretty big deal. I also think players are quick to forget that when they release shiny Axew, shiny Dino, and shiny Gible, all of those Pokemon were projected to be a Community Day Pokemon in the future, but people still went out and raided as hard as they could because getting those shinies are still pretty exciting, even though you know it's going to be a shiny that everyone is going to have in the future. There is something special about early access. The fact that you're able to get a certain Pokemon before anyone else, that is something that makes you feel good. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and raid as much as you can for a certain Pokemon that we know are going to get a Community Day, but what I'm saying is that some of the controversies I feel like are overblown a little bit. This is not necessarily a big deal. In fact, I think it's actually pretty exciting for the community at large. The fact that we're going to be seeing Galarian Zigzagoons all over the place, and the fact that people are going to finally have access to this Pokemon outside of raids, that is actually a good thing. Because the more Pokemon that are hidden behind paywalls, the more this game becomes pay to win. So I do like the fact that Niantic does grant access to these Pokemon later on down the road, because that kind of keeps the game's integrity intact, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, I really do not like the idea of anything in this game being a paid exclusive. You should be able to have access to it even as a free-to-play player, and this is just one of the ways that you could do that. I mean, you also have to consider that this shiny is getting a Community Day way later after it was released in raid battles. So when I say early access, I really mean early access. You're pretty much getting those shinies 2 years before they get a Community Day. But just going back to the whole pay to win aspect, there's not a lot of people out there who are going to be able to raid as much as they can, and they're probably saving their free raid passes for legendaries and other more valuable Pokemon. So I can understand why players would be frustrated for spending money on certain Pokemon, but I'm also happy for those players who've always wanted this shiny, but they were just not able to raid for it. But yeah, I'm not saying that those frustrations are invalid, but I just feel like for me, myself personally, I don't feel frustrated about this Pokemon getting a Community Day. Even though I did raid a whole bunch back when this shiny first came out, I kind of suspected that it would be a Community Day in the future. And I kind of feel the same way about Pokemon like Axew and Timber when they are in raids. I know that eventually they will get a community day, so I'm not too worried about not getting their shinies in raids. Although it would be really nice if I could get one early on, that way I have a good one prepped up for when they eventually get a community day, so I can get a nice shiny with good moves. I would say that all of the money you spent on those raid passes is not wasted, considering that you will have a whole bunch of really good Galarian Zigzagoons with high IVs ready to be evolved, and that is something you should not ignore. Now, of course, considering that Obstagoon is more of a PvP-centric Pokemon, you will probably want one with the PvP IVs. And of course, you can't really get that from raid battles, but think of it this way, now you have an opportunity to get that in the wild. So yeah, in my opinion, I think this is a pretty big win overall. It's going to be good for the community, and for those of you who got a shiny already, you pretty much have an early access Pokemon, and you shouldn't diminish the specialty of that sort of thing. Now finally, there's one point of controversy that I actually do agree with, that I do think Niantic needs to address. The fact that shiny Zigzagoon has already been in Pokemon Go for the longest time now, I really feel like Niantic needs to stop going back to old shinies, unless they are premium Pokemon. For Pokemon like Axew, Dino, and Gible, it kind of makes sense because releasing those shinies early does hype up whatever event they are coinciding with, like Pokemon Go Fest, but I really think that for Pokemon like Galarian Zigzagoon, which is a shiny that's been out for the longest time, they could have gone with something else that would have drawn a lot more excitement from the community. So yeah, I think there's a lot better Pokemon that they could have gone with personally, but I'm still happy at the end of the day that we're getting shiny Galarian Zigzagoon through Community Day. But anyway, these are just my thoughts and opinions regarding the release of Galarian Zigzagoon as the Community Day Pokemon, but let me know your thoughts down below, what you think about Niantic's decision here. Do you think Niantic should have gone with a different Pokemon, or are you someone that is happy with this decision? Let me know down below, and let's have a great discussion. And if it's your first time here to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget that little bell so you stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, then do consider checking out the links in the description below. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.